When I was a certified candidate on the ordination track in the UMC, I thought it would be prudent to purchase this book, if you can see my screen, the Pastor's Pocket Book of the United Methodist Book of Worship. And over the years, this pocket-sized resource has been so helpful to my pastoral ministry and continues to be today. Worship Anytime or Place, also in my hand now, you can see they're the same size roughly, is intended to serve a similar purpose and carry a similar history with over 200 resources for corporate worship and personal devotion, offering resources for clergy and laity. Its subtitle invokes the term Methodist, but most of the resources are ecumenical as they come from dozens of resources across denominational lines. There's also great attention to the diversity of contributors, source materials, liturgical styles or genres, and language practices. For clergy, this volume contains official United Methodist resources and supplementary resources for the administration of sacraments, as well as funeral services and other pastor-led moments. The majority of resources, however, are intended for all ministers, lay, and clergy. Some readers may serve in a variety of church leadership roles, such as worship planners, lay servants, liturgists, congregational care ministers, chaplains, deaconesses, home missioners, members of committees, that's everybody, right? Committees and leadership teams. Others may want these resources to expand and nurture their life of prayer as parents, grandparents, teachers, business executives, neighbors, justice seekers, caretakers, retirees, all of God's people. Worship Anytime or Place equips these people to offer a steady, capable, prayerful voice to the myriad moments of life that take place between the Lord's Day and the rest of the week. Oh, see, y'all, I'm so bad at slides. Hold on, there was supposed to be. There we go. That was supposed to be what was up when I was saying all that. Anyway, you can review that quickly as I move on. Part one of the book is an overview of the basic pattern of worship, the liturgical year, and the ancient collect form of prayer. Part two includes resources for the Lord's Day, and there's a small subsection of resources for pastors, and then a larger subsection of resources that follow the various components of a Sunday service. So think calls to worship, prayers for illumination, pastoral prayers, benedictions, etc. Part three is the heart of the book, and it includes resources that can be done anytime or any place. It too is subdivided into resources for pastors and resources for all ministers. And so I wanted to share some of the liturgies that I'm excited about. In part two, in the Worship on the Lord's Day section, there's a new rite for a celebration of a renewed believer through testimony and baptismal reaffirmation. It seeks to address that great moment in someone's life when they have a profound faith transformation, and it offers them a meaningful public way to mark this without having to have the rebaptism conversation. There's also a fantastic intergenerational Great Thanksgiving for general use. And then part two also has resources for corporate lament, lovely variations on the Lord's Prayer, and other great general resources. And part three, we have some very unique resources. So for pastors, we have liturgies to lead, such as a Great Thanksgiving in times of crisis, the commissioning and blessing of a newly licensed foster family, a covenant affirmation after an autism diagnosis, a new blessing of the animal service, and a service of farewell for departing members, either those who are leaving on good terms or those leaving due to disaffiliation. For all ministers in part three, I provided the subsections. There's too many prayers to list out, and really I didn't list all those out from the other section either. But in part three, some of the subsections are rhythms of the calendar year. So think resources for New Year's, Mother's, Father's Day, Juneteenth, back to school blessings, backpack blessings, Indigenous Peoples Day, etc. Prayers for waking and sleeping. That sounds like what they say they are. So prayers before sleeping and upon waking. There's also a really unique Wesleyan examen in there. Interpersonal prayers and blessings, think wedding engagements, anniversary blessings, prayers for wisdom, prayers for tough conversations or for friendships that have ended or for someone going through a divorce. Healing and wholeness, there's a service of healing there, a prayer for living fully in the dying days, a prayer on the death anniversary of a loved one, a service for the loss of a beloved pet. Leadership and church life, a prayer for those who find themselves without a church, a prayer before a budget meeting, A prayer for quilting groups, full of quilting puns. It's great, but framed seriously and prayerfully. A prayer for a building remodel. We've got a family and home section, including things like prayers for breaking bread or enjoying wine, table blessings, but also things like a prayer for a new parent or parents, and heavier things like prayers for infertility, related to infertility. Prayers of the saints, so kind of famous notable prayers, prayer of St. Patrick, prayer of Susanna Wesley, and others. Prayers related to labor, vocation, and hobbies. So some selections here from prayers for when work is scarce, for active military on deployment, a prayer for gardening, a prayer for engaging a prayer labyrinth, a section on affirmation and inclusion. There's a blessing for someone who embodies a new name. There is a prayer of affirmation for gender transition, and a blessing for someone who should not need to be resilient. And then under the justice and peace section, just a few prayers here. A prayer before attending a demonstration. This has a longer title, but poignant and frightening. A prayer for a mass shooting before you even know what's going on. Election prayers, racial justice prayers, climate justice prayers, refugees and migrant related prayers. So I love this resource. I stand by it. I'm excited to share it with you. You can find it on any of these places, Amazon, Cokesbury. If you'll happen to be in Charlotte for a general conference, it'll be fully stocked at the Abingdon or Cokesbury table. And so because of its compact size, its portability, and its broad focus on marking quotidian moments of life with prayer, Worship Anytime or Place has many, I would say, holy opportunities for page damage and stains. My hope is for this book to have crumbs lodged into its spine from table blessings, earmarked pages from everyday blessings, bits of gravel from protests, hand sanitizer stains from hospital visits, dirt marks from gardens or animals, drops of mascara from interpersonal prayers, coffee stains from still mornings, and frazzled pages from sitting in the sun. And since this book travels well, my hope is that it might even be misplaced during one's journey, only for a stranger to find it as a blessing. So thank you for listening, and I hope you purchase this resource for yourself, your church staff, your annual conference, as a gift item, or for anyone else who could use this tool kit in the pastoral toolbox. So I'd like to conclude with a prayer. I feel like that's fitting for this book, and I think it's a timely prayer for anyone, but especially those who are constant doers. Alternatively, prayer could be titled A Prayer for Enneagram 3s, which is me. So I wrote this prayer a while ago. It's a prayer to appreciate the pauses in life. So let's join together in prayer. O Christ, who draws playfully in the sand, teach me to value the pauses in my life. Remind me that not everything needs a purpose or demands results. Give me the capacity to delight in what is before me, not worrying, not rushing, just trusting somehow. In your matchless name, I pray. Amen. Thank you.